point, but I wanted meatballs again this week, so that's what we're making for dinner tonight. Things you will need. Bread, pork. Generally, you make meatballs with a mix of pork and beef, although we have ground deer. That's going to be awesome. Garlic, an onion, 3 eggs generally, various herbs. We're going with parsley and basil and a tiny bit of fennel fronds. We're also going to be putting some dehydrated zucchini bits in it to make it more healthful. Pine nuts are also good. And for the bread, for meatballs, it works so much better if you use good bread. Bella needs food, I believe.
Well, you go feed the cat.
Okay. Jesse's going to start.
I'm going to start with taking this lovely ciabatta bread baguette into tiny little pieces and putting it in this bowl while Matt does pine nut toasting. Because toasted pine nuts are much, much better than plain pine nuts.
First, Matt is going to feed the guest.
And I do mean tiny, tiny pieces, like the size of your fingernail and not any bigger. You can go slightly bigger when you do meatloaf because, you have to cut it anyway. But these are meatballs. You want tiny, lovely little pieces. So this is going to take me a while.
While she's doing that, I am going to toast 1/4 of a cup of pine nuts or so. Or I'm just going to go heavy on the pine nuts. What is actually
in there?
I think it's 1/2 cup. Yep.
We can go heavy on the pine nuts.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's not like we have a lot of other recipes with pine nuts in it.
Yeah. So pine nuts, you want to do on medium to low heat.
You can turn.
Yes, I'm going to. And actually, I should be using a larger frying pan for this. Yes. I got that one out, expecting to be doing 1/4 of a cup. So, low to medium heat, and they're going to want to move around regularly. Because pine nuts burn very, very quickly if you don't pay attention to them, unfortunately. So how is your day going, Jesse?
Fine. We have managed to be productive today.
We have managed to be productive today. It's been a good day.
We even made adorable little mini cheesecakes today.
Of course, now I want one of those again.
You need one.
I suppose it's going to be a moment until the pine nuts. Would you like 1/2 of one, Jesse?
Not right now.
Then I will just eat a whole mini cheesecake.
You can show it off first.
Yes. A tiny, non-dairy cheesecake.
With Biscoff cookie crust because that's so much better than graham crackers.
Yes, because I still have a lot of Biscoffs. We went a little heavy on the butter in the Biscoff cookie crust.
Well, it's because we didn't really have a proper recipe.
Mm-hmm.
And graham crackers are a lot drier, so some of that butter would have gotten absorbed if we had been doing a graham cracker crust. We also food processed it instead of just combining it by hand, which I think kind of liquefied the Biscoff more than it was supposed to, whatever the word is.
Mm-hmm.
But food processors are fantastic because then you don't have to spend forever crushing or tearing like I'm doing now. But you can't food process their bread into breadcrumbs.
No, you
It
cannot.
does not go well.
Not fresh bread, at least.
No. Dried bread, croutons into paste, but that's not what we're after either.
Mm-hmm. Definitely not after a paste. It's still good.
I did just wash the
We
floor
did just
today.
wash the floor today. So. Oh. The pine nuts will start getting a little shiny. That's the first step of this.
Does it change the sight if you turn on the light? Yes, it does. Not appreciably, but
Yeah.
some.
Our camera and our internet connection is not good enough to actually show off the shininess of them.
Well, it might be if you like picked up the camera and like did a nice close up, but then it would be all shaky and weird.
Yeah.
I value stability over fanciness.
Yes. Although these pine nuts are starting to change color now. I'm going to grab a spatula and take one of them around with. So I can make sure they actually flip. There we go.
And that pine nut went under the oven, and you will not be retrieving
No.
and eating it.
I did clean under the oven last month.
No.
Just going to give these a moment more. I had the heat up a little bit higher than I generally do on these, since I'm paying close attention to them. Okay. Do you want to come take a look at them, Jesse? Look at these. Toasty.
Brown.
Yep. As Chef Ann says, brown food tastes good. Okay. Going to take those off of the heat and let them cool for a moment.
And in all of that time, I've gotten just over a cup of
You get
breadcrumbs.
Put them in the thing. Let's see how much you've got.
Yep, cup of breadcrumbs.
While she's doing the breadcrumbs, I am going to mince this frozen onion. I'm using a butcher knife for this, not a chef knife. Yes, this is frozen. You want a sturdier knife. Although this one has been thawing out on the counter for a little bit. Basically just shaving this one. That's okay.
Now, I am not including the bottom crust of the bread in my crumbs because I am not a crust person. But that is up to you all. This is soft enough crust that I probably could with no problem, but it's also just as easy to tear off from it.
It's all good. I'll take one of those. Do you have a crust piece? There we go. That's not bad. Jessie prefers her onion pieces tiny.
Yes. Well, I prefer my onion pieces not in my food, but it doesn't taste right without onions.
It really, really doesn't. We did try at one point, I believe, on
We
these.
did try to make a meatloaf without onions, and it was...
Or meatballs, you mean.
Yeah. Meatloaf you can do without onions. We've done that plenty. You can just substitute other hard vegetables. Yeah, most meatloaf recipes are like onions and peppers and meat, and I only like one of those things, so we don't do that.
There we go. Mince, mince, mince. Okay, that's probably minced enough.
Yeah, probably.
Are we using the bowl behind you?
You gotta know how much they are first, though.
Not for this, it's just an onion.
Oh, it's not part of the volume?
Yeah, it's not part of the volume, it's part
Oh,
of the
okay.
flavoring. So. Okay, how many of the
All of
zucchini?
them.
All of
All of
them.
them. Look, you have twice as much onion as zucchini. No complaining.
But that sounds so healthy.
Uh-huh.
Not even a little complaining.
It's the smallest amount. There's still 2 jars in there.
I'm aware.
Yeah, you're probably going to want the actual saw ability for this.
Slicer it is.
Yes.
Or trimmer, rather, it is.
A slicing motion knife will be required.
for the dried.
Yes.
'Cause-
They are properly dehydrated.
Well, actually, if they were properly dehydrated, still, I could just
Crack them.
them. These have got
Well,
a
but they've
little
been in
bit
the
of
freezer.
moisture. Hopefully they taste good with this stuff in it.
They should.
Should. I can just dump the zucchini bits in as I go.
And that's 2 cups.
2 scoops of bread.
Well, 1 scoop of bread.
You know,
I have a 2-cup scoop. And are we going to need all 3 eggs since we've only got 2 pounds of
yes, we are.
meat?
Yes, because we're using the deer.
Oh yes.
It has a lower fat content.
It will need more binders.
It's going to need more bind. Yep.
Ah, delicious eggs. Mince a clove of garlic.
Well, I still have more of these to do.
Yeah, once you're done.
So you just want 1 clove.
There's a nice big clove in there. We'll just do that one.
And then I'll squish the pine nuts in a moment. After I mince the garlic clove.
We'll do the pine nuts before the garlic clove. The garlic clove will make the cutting board all wet.
Oh, good call. Good call.
Order of operations is important.
Fill the spoon. Something better spoon. There.
And why are we crushing them?
So they incorporate properly. Also, something, releasing the oils more evenly, something.
Because it says so. Right?
No, there's actually a reason. Like, I've done it, I've tried it once without crushing them, and it
Didn't work as
didn't work as well. You just got mouthfuls of pine nut. And then other mouthfuls of a complete absence of pine nut. That's
well.
not as fun. Sometimes it's nice to just, like, intentionally do a part of a recipe wrong to see
Just to make sure.
how it fails.
To see which parts they're serious about and which parts are just suggestions.
Yeah. Because it turns out a surprising amount of, like,
Things that seem like suggestions aren't.
yeah, and a surprising amount of things that seem like absolute has to be done
Really don't.
really don't. And in fact, maybe even a detriment to the final dish,
Depending on taste.
depending on taste.
I'm sure whoever made it up really, really liked it that way. Alright. Pickles.
one more batch if I have to switch.
Come on, bread.
Doesn't want to close up nicely.
What I got?
Oh, we didn't start heating the oven.
Ah!
Oven
crap.
wants to heat to 400 degrees. That's okay. Knew we forgot something.
We'll still have to take time to make the meatballs.
Yeah.
It'll heat up by then.
So do you want to put in a bit of herbs into the mix? I'll get the garlic.
Okay.
So,
Basil, parsley, and a tiny bit of fennel.
tiny bit of fennel fronds.
Fennel fronds, yes. Whee! Parsley.
I may actually smell the fennel. Ooh,
Yeah,
Tiny
that's why
bit-
we're only doing a
tiny bit of that, yes. Yeah, that's probably fine.
Fennel smells very licoricey. At least this batch does. And basil.
Which we believe is sweet basil.
No, this is basil. I have a different thing that says
Oh,
sweet
okay.
basil.
Then
This
that's
is
fine. then.
standard basil. We labeled them differently when we dried them out. We were smart this time.
Yes. One large clove. Or that'll work.
Yep.
Can you put that back in the fridge? Helps if the whole thing's on the table.
Yes, helps if all four foods are on the same level.
Okay. Clove of garlic.
All 3 eggs.
All 3 eggs are going to want to go in here. Toss those real quick. So here, pound of deer. Are you ready for the ground pork? Go. And then I'll give it a glug of olive oil.
Not a very big glove. This is already kind of wet.
Back. Glug is a very scientific term, of course. I am going to pan the cookie sheets. They shall be ready when you are ready to use them.
And since we are making meatballs and not meatloaf, I am not going to be careful to only mix this enough to combine because I want even distribution of all the things in every bite. And since we have to form them into balls anyway, the whole over mixing your meat makes it tough thing doesn't really matter since I'm going to make it into balls anyway.
Yeah,
So I'm doing this
that's probably
thoroughly enough until I don't see a single handful with like more than 6 onions in it.
well.
Because there's a lot of onions.
There's a lot of other things to do though.
Okay. What size?
About inch sized.
Is that bigger than an inch?
That is, but if you make them all that size, that's fine. A little bit smaller than a golf ball. I think. It's been a while since I...
It's bigger than a golf ball.
Okay. Aim for golf ball size.
I will aim for slightly above golf ball size since that seems to be what I am capable of picking up.
That's fair.
Sing to me while I make meatballs, Matt. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Not happening.
But the algorithms, they'll hear me. I don't actually know how much, or just how sensitive some of the copyright things are. I'm sure I would have to be much better at singing for it to actually matter. So it's going to be a couple of batches of these. But we can cook them 2 cookie sheet worth at a time.
That's why I got out 2 cookie sheets.
Yep.
I don't get flat, right? So I can,
No.
I can space them.
You can space them like that.
They're not cookies.
I don't think you could quite
They're
fit another row of them in.
No, I could not. They would
End up
they
touching.
would touch each other.
Okay.
Sheet.
You're looking nice, though. Doing an excellent job forming meatballs.
This itch on my neck.
Where?
No, this right. Okay. Right there. Ah, better. Okay.
There. Here to help. You could actually probably fit another row this way.
Okay. Scoop them down there.
Yeah.
Then it'll just be the one batch. I won't have to worry about different oven temperature batch things.
Yay.
Of course, if we screw it up, it means they're all screwed up. But that's okay. I don't think we'll screw it
I
up.
don't think we'll screw it up. We more or less know what we're doing.
We've done this enough.
It is
They're
slightly
not quite-
mesmerizing.
Yeah. Probably, hopefully mesmerizing for the stream too, since they can't hear the squish, squish, squish noise.
Yeah. Not being able to hear the squish noise is probably...
For the best
For the
for some
best.
people. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this, and not you.
Yep.
You don't like the squish.
I really don't. Okay, we all have our talents and whatnot.
I'm not going to be able to make them all into one batch.
Okay, we can get one more cookie sheet dirty if you want, or...
I have so few.
Here. I can see if we can fit... You could probably on the other one. There we go. At this point, they cook for 15 to 20 minutes. Not going to worry about sticking on stream for that. But we hope that anyone that was joining us enjoyed and maybe can make some meatballs of their own later.
They're mostly consistent size.
Yeah, they should cook mostly evenly. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening.